This week it was pretty obvious that Shawn Michaels and co had one singular mindset, bopping around in their various brains. They decided we're going to hit the ground running and we're going to stay super, super busy. We're going to go over here, we're going to go over here, we're going to keep doing all this stuff and all this craziness, and we're going to stay busy, 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 busy. Meanwhile, Booker T isn't going to make a goddamn lick of sense on commentary, and Vic Joseph is going to herniate every disc in his back, every disc in his neck, and every nerve in his body, trying to steer this goddamn ship. But boy, one thing you can say about this show, it certainly wasn't dull. They decided to just do every goddamn thing to hype up NXT Deadline. Let's get to it, shall we? I'm John Renton with my review WWE NXT, and yep, we're just a couple weeks away from the last premium live event of the year, NXT Deadline with the Iron Survivor. Whew, boy, those are going to be convoluted matches. I mean, they really tried to dress this shit up, but there were some good moments on this show. In fact, I would say, even though there were things I didn't like, this is probably the most cohesive NXT episode they've done in quite a while, especially since the rebrand. And I don't mean just going to the white and gold, but still having the 2.0 mindset of just craziness and wacky gimmicks. I mean since 2.0. This actually had some cohesion. But again, there were issues. But nevertheless, it was fine, I guess, overall. So anyway, we start off with the women. Roxanne Perez versus Indy Hartwell. And the whole, the whole theme looming large, that is who would be in the Iron Survivor matches? For the men, for the women, who would be the five? Who will be the Fave Five? I'm just going to say right now, Booker T is abysmal on commentary. I mean, I don't know why he's there. And I know Roxanne was one of his students, and I get it, and that's cool that he gets to see one of his students wrestle, but just, god damn it, Booker T, he's not even a caricature at this point. It's grating to listen to. At times he can be a little bit entertaining, but like 90% of the time it's like, what the hell are you on about, man? Anyway, Indy was the de facto heel here because I guess she's, just upset about how she's kind of overlooked in NXT, and that she just wants to teach people a goddamn lesson. And both of these women do have potential. Roxanne, for being 21, she is very, very good. And Indy has been very underappreciated for a couple of years. There was a tumble by Roxanne to the outside. Indy laid her shit in. Roxanne fought from underneath and eventually pop rocks 1, 2, 3. Okay. I'm not upset about Roxanne winning. I'm a little bit surprised. I think they're really just trying to build it where Indy is going to be so upset that eventually she's going to leave NXT. She's going to be all lost and everything. She's going to find Dexter, and then we're going to get an eventual mixed tag match. Let's just get a mixed tag match at the Rumble between Dexter and Indy and Miz and Maurice. The Gangster of Love. Woo, woo. They started off with the women, and actually they featured a lot of women here, and you know what? That's good. So we get Andre Chase, Dookie Nukie Hudson, Thea, Scrappy Doo, Hale. I don't really know. I can't unsee it now. And I'm not knocking Thea Hale. She's doing the best she can. She's got energy. I got to give her that. There was a petition that Dookie Nukie Hudson signed and got other signatures for. Like, hey, Andre Chase, you deserve to be in the Iron Survivor Challenge. And then Grayson Waller angers Scrappy Hale. Like, let me at him. I don't know why she does that. Is she on speed? What's going on? Whatever. Nevertheless, maybe she's just on a lot of caffeine. Dijak, channeling Masahiro Chono, took on Dante Chan. Remember when they gave Dante Chan a backstory and talked about how he wanted to honor his parents? One of his parents had passed away. And yeah, he got an injury, and then they just totally forgot about that. I don't know if this guy was seated beyond the mid-card, but now they just seemingly forgot about that. And now a year later, he's getting some shots in on Dijak. And, Dijak did some good shit. I mean, he's a very, very good athlete. And Dante Chan isn't bad either. I think this it served its purpose, but it also went a minute or two too long. And this is one of the many things that they just shoehorned in. Dijak got this weird sleeper trap thing, and then eventually hit Feast Your Eyes 1, 2, 3. I guess it accomplished what it needed to. Then Dijak talked about serving, hard justice. I guess everybody's going to be serving hard times now. The Big Boss Man's theme is stuck in your head. He's going to eviscerate everybody. And earlier today, JD McTuna was harassing Ivy Nile and Tatum Paxley. I say harassing, he may have just been talking to them, but with a face like that and with the fact that he just looks like somebody that should be on a warning label for every neighborhood, like, hey, if you see this guy, stay the fuck away from him, I'm just going to say harassing. The Creeds were like, why are you in here? And then he's saying, well, Indus Sher is going to beat you because it's just science. It's bigger guys against smaller guys, or they're just tougher or meaner than you are. And I tend to tune out what J.D. McTuna says. Then we cut to Shawn Michaels, Sean Waltman, Alundra Blaze, who I didn't recognize with the dark hair, Molly Holly, and Road Dogg. You know, it's funny that Road Dogg was begging Tony Khan for a job after WWE released him, and then he got hired as basically a pity hire because Triple H decided for whatever reason, hey, yeah, let's bring Road Dogg back. You know, this guy hasn't had any good ideas in quite a while. They want to find the 5 best men and women of 2022, and it doesn't, wins and losses don't matter. People thought that was a shot at the AEW ranking system. Okay, whatever. Other companies have had ranking systems. I take it more as a shot at Road Dogg for saying wins and losses don't matter. It's all about the entertainment. No, they actually do matter. See, that's why Road Dogg's wrestling never really mattered, because nobody really cared about Road Dogg's wrestling, because nobody really liked Road Dogg's wrestling. If you think you did, that's fine. That's cool. But Road Dogg has basically just torpedoed whatever remaining goodwill he had, which wasn't much, and I wish Bullet Bob had pulled out that night. Shout out to a friend of mine who decided to coin that phrase, and I'm using it here on this platform. So, nevertheless, they talk about the various guys on the roster. I don't know why Sean kept putting his head back and forth to look, because, with the way his eyes are, he really wouldn't have had to have turned his head much of anything. He could have turned his head one way and still kept his eyes on the women. Nevertheless, Carmelo Hayes, Tony D'Angelo is not going to be on there because he's injured, J.D. McTuna, Von Wagner, Grayson Waller, and a few others. It was kind of cool. They were trying to make this like a playoff committee thing, like who really should be in there, but it just... Waltman seemed like he was motivated. Alundra Blaze was there. Molly Holly just chimed in a little bit. Road Dogg wasn't necessary. Road Dogg isn't necessary for wrestling in 2022. Dookie Nukie Hudson with Chase and Thea Scrappy Doo Hale took on Grayson Waller. Grayson Waller is bound determined to get Dookie Nukie Hudson to reveal himself. Gross. I hate this Chase University stuff. I just do. That's my opinion. I'm sticking to it. I have nothing against any of the talents. I hate the presentation. So we nearly get a collision with Thea Hale a little bit later. And he says, I can stop that anytime I want or anytime I need to. And Andre's like, what do you mean when you need to? Because Dookie Nukie ended up accidentally clocking Andre Chase, not meaning to, during their tag title match last week. And a roll stunner for 3. I hate how insufferably good Grayson Waller is in the ring. It's annoying. Maybe that's the idea. Mackenzie is with Javier Bernal because they are bound and determined to make this as awkward as possible. And look, they're trying. I give them credit. I have nothing against Javi as a person, but good God, this is weird. More Big Body Tuesday stuff, and he's got merch. Where did he pull the bat from? I don't want to know. A Big Body Javi body pillow. I know there's somebody out there that's thinking about it, and you stop thinking about it, and he had perfume that smelled like, or cologne that smelled like rotten eggs. And he called out Axiom Verge a while ago when he had a list of people to face, and Axiom Verge shows up, oh yeah, I'm cleared, so I'll fight you. Okay. Kiana James and Fallon Henley had a match. Good God, these women. These two women, they both have great potential. As Tesha Price, Fallon Henley did very well during the AEW pandemic era. WWE scooped her up. Kiana James looks great and wrestles well. And look, there's going to be awkwardness with two women that are getting used to a big stage like this. But they laid enough shit in. There was a few awkward moments, but Kiana James has a great look. The storyline's dumb, all about a bar that Kiana wants to buy. At one point, the handbag gets brought in, and then there was an awkward post spot, and then a weird flatliner, I believe, called 401k123. It wasn't bad. It wasn't great. Both these women tried, and they do look great. That is definitely a bonus. But in all seriousness, they were trying. I'll give them that much. And then, God, Malik Blade is upset because his father's sweater vest got ripped up by Von Wagner. And assuming that actually was, I really hope it actually wasn't. I hope it was just a copy. But he's upset, and Odyssey Jones and Idris Enofe say, well, channel that rage and beat up Von Wagner. Yes, anything that will get Von Wagner off of my television is a good thing. More panel talk about the women. Roxanne. Of course, Road Dogg picked Zoe Stark, Grandma Zoe. Indy Hartwell, Cora Jade, Fallon Henley, Kiana James, and St. Elbows Fire get picked, but St. Elbows Fire gets mentioned. Well, she is targeting Isla Dawn. Okay, we get to move on to what was supposed to be the fifth match, Toxic Attraction versus Nikita, Kaden, and Katana. Unfortunately, Grandma Zoe decided that her Ensure was going to kick in at that point, her energized Ensure, and she attacked Nikita's knee, Nikita as it were, and that match was scrapped till the main event. So, okay, let's not even bother with that. We go to Lira Valkyrie. She was the former somebody from NXT UK. I actually don't know how to pronounce. I saw the name, don't know how to pronounce it. She has a good look. I think I saw 1 or 2 matches she was in. And you could offer me 50 grand, I couldn't tell you anything about her. She has a good look. Let's see what she can do. Elektra Lopez. Speaking of what I'd like to see somebody do, I'd like to see her wrestle. Let's see what she can do. She's happy that Indy Hartwell is losing. Yet Indy Hartwell's I don't know what's going on here. Javier Bernal took on Axiom Verge in a match of, well, okay. I don't know why Axiom gets that weird floaty entrance where he's like stopping time. It's dumb. He sells his knee. Javi isn't bad in the ring. I just have no reason to really care. But hey, they're giving him TV time. What can I fault? And a jump kick, 1, 2, 3. So yeah, this is the fifth match. And then we get to Nikita saying she's good to go. Oh, God, great. Storm the Capitol. Jump over the building. Jump over the wall. Mackenzie is with Pretty Deadly Glory. They are going to do a Christmas story rendition next week, and I hope the ratings crash to 0. Apollo and Steiner are in the same diner where Apollo has been writing out his shit and doing narrations. They have a weird talk, and okay. I don't know why the camera was like this goddamn close to their faces, but nevertheless, it was what it was. It'll be an interesting match, I'll say that much. I would be surprised if Apollo won. I would be upset if Apollo won, but I think Steiner's going to win. I really don't get why the camera is this close. Speaking of things that I don't get why they were so close, why were some segments with J.D. McTuna so close to each other? I.e., why is J.D. McTuna allowed to be so close to the camera, or on camera? Because as good as he might be in the ring, he's insufferably annoying. Julius Creed took him on in a match that was fine. It was fine for what it was. J.D. can work, but yeah, as I said, Julius has great potential. Indus Sher showed up at one point, Sangha and Veer, who came to NXT and came all over everybody and make sure that him and Sangha, they are going to be able to just blast it all over everybody, including the Creeds. The Creeds came over to them. Gross. Enough. J.D. McTuna gets annoyed and says, okay, I'm going to grab a chair and I'm going to swing it at Sangha. Or I'm going to swing it at Julius, rather. Sangha pushes Julius out of the way, so we get a DQ. So technically J.D. McTuna wins. Julius wins. This was really confusing because the referee shouted like, well, like, you can't shove him. So there we go. Julius wins. And then JD decides to leave, and Veer and Sangha say, we want you 100% to the Creeds. I mean, okay, it makes sense. It was a bit weird. Why would you try to hit a guy that wide with a chair? St. Elbows Fire, she wants Isla Dawn. Hopefully in the ring and nowhere else. Not that I would imagine. Moving on. That's it. That's really it right there. I mean, this feud will certainly be something. Maybe it'll happen at Deadline, or the match will happen at Deadline. Dijak is talked to by Tony D and Stax. It was something about Wesley and Hard Justice and weirdness. Speaking of weirdness, the lobotomized zebra himself, Heavy Metal Von Wagner, took on Malik Blade over his father's sweater. Yeah, heirlooms, I get it, but I would think just try to outsmart Von Wagner by literally asking him to do math. Malik has a good look, and this was fine. It was fine for what it was. Von wins with a TKO variation, beats up Malik. Odyssey Jones comes down and runs him off. It wasn't bad. Blade and Enofe actually are a pretty good team. They're a pretty underappreciated team. They have great energy, and they make the most of their TV time. So Sean selects, and I assume used his bad eye to just dart around the cue cards. J.D. McTuna, Grayson Waller, Carmelo Hayes, and Joe Wayne Gacy, and the fifth will be decided in a wild card match. The women, Grandma Zoe, Cora Jade, Roxanne Perez, Kiana James, and the fifth will be decided in a wild card. Speaking of the wild card, Vaughn, Axiom, and Chase, Indy, Fallon, and Wendy for the wild card. If Wendy wins the wins the fifth spot, you might as well just scrap the entire Iron Survivor match. I'm just saying. Toxic Attraction versus Caden, Katana, and Nikita. JC Jane, my goodness, I'm always going to say that because I love watching JC Jane. She makes the most of her TV time. She can work. And yes, she looks good. She looks very good. They all look good. Good for them. Good for all these women out there doing what they're doing. Nikita's gear, they're at least trying to make her gear a little bit more presentable, I guess. There was a jump start because they were running out of time. JC, as I noted, made the most of her TV time. This kind of got messy. Nikita was still on her knee. And she then got a hot tag. We got a melee. And JC, attacks the knee. We get a high-low variation, but it looked like, Gigi just kind of kicked the knee, and it wasn't even the bad knee. It was a bit weird. JC had to do most of that. That was a bit of a weird thing. But then again, Nikita's not very good in the ring, and not very good at selling. That being said, Toxic Attraction stands tall. We have to eventually move away from Mandy Rose being the champion. So if it doesn't happen by Stand and Deliver, and that's a bit away, if it doesn't happen by then, maybe the titles change on the first Raw, maybe on the first NXT of the year. So anyway, let's just go with that. So was it a fine episode? Sure. Was it a bit weird? Yeah. They crammed a lot in, though. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Ritlin. I'll see you soon.